Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show. It is Wednesday, May the 5th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack with you, ready to break down the baseball card for a Wednesday. We've got a few day games today, as we usually do, middle of the week when we have a Wednesday slate. So let's get right to it. We've got the San Francisco Giants and the Colorado Rockies. First game on tap, 3 p.m. Eastern in a couple of hours. Logan Webb, John Gray are pitching matchup here. The Rockies here, slight home chalk, minus 120, total 10 across the board here in this one. Look, John Gray's been very, very respectable and serviceable, no question, this season here so far for the Colorado Rockies. We've got to give him credit. You look at his starts here overall, and actually they've been winning with him on the mound as well. For the most part, at least more than they have with their other starters. 3-3 with Gray on the mound so far this season. 3-1 for the Rockies with him at home this season. The record, you look at his recent starts, he's been decent. He's kept his team in games. He's actually given up 2 runs or less in 4 of his 6 starts this season. However, track record against the Giants, a little bit shaky for John Gray. A couple of guys have hit him hard. On the flip side, Logan Webb taking the mound here for the Giants. Last couple starts, he had the shutout against the Marlins, 7 strong innings against them, 3 runs allowed in 6 innings against a pretty good Padres lineup the last time out. Maybe there's a chance that these 2 pitchers might have a good run through the lineup early, but boy, these bullpens right now, both of them, Colorado's bullpen's been terrible all year, and the Giants' bullpen has been not very good lately either. We saw them implode last night in the second game of this doubleheader. So I think if you like an under, you got to look first 5 here in this one tonight. As far as the side goes, Gray's been good at home, Connor, but the fact remains the better team is getting a plus price here. So it's kind of a conflict game for me. I still would only probably take San Francisco because they're probably not in a good mood after blowing the game last night. And right now they're still better than the Rockies overall. They're 6-2 against the Rockies this year. So I'd lean San Francisco. Don't love it, but I'd lean to San Fran here in this one. What do you think, Connor?
I would too a little bit as well, but I'm staying off this one. How about the Giants in game 1? It switched. Remember, we got off air. It wasn't Wood, it was Sanchez, and they just put a 10 spot or whatever up. That was crazy, the Giants on the Rockies. And then to have a lead and the Rockies score 6 in the bottom of the 7th in game 2 to get the win. I'm going to stay away. I could see runs again. Both lineups can hit both these guys. They got a good track record against Webb and pretty good against Gray, even the Giants. I want to kind of look at a first 5 under 5.5, but at Coors Field and after the last 2 days, this is one I can check off and just pass. I'm gonna stay away.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I kind of feel that same way with this one, staying off it. Baltimore, Seattle, we've got a battle of southpaws here. A battle of John Means has been excellent for Baltimore. And Yusei Kikuchi rises up and just dominates the Astros in his last start. So what Yusei Kikuchi shows up today in this one remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see. But next up, we've got Seattle minus 120, home favorite, 7.5 the total in this game. Should be interesting to see how this one plays out. Kikuchi was definitely a lot better in his last start against the Astros, and an Astros team that mashes lefties. Baltimore's actually not that bad against the lefties too, but boy, Kikuchi had it rocking in that last start for the Seattle Mariners. We'll see if he can keep it up here today, taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Means, on the other hand, it's just been bet on all the way. He's been dominant, 1.7 ERA for him entering this start. Baltimore's been winning with John Means on the mound. So, look, I'm a little bit leery of going against Kikuchi after seeing him really, really put it together against a great lineup, a great hitting lineup, usually against lefties. That wasn't that way against the Astros last time out. So this is a tough one for me. I mean, Baltimore is the only way I would go here in this game because I'm just a John Means backer. He's been excellent. He's not someone I'm at all interested in going against, especially when he's a slight underdog like he is here in this game. So probably would lean to Baltimore, first 5 in full game here in this one. Total-wise, maybe a first 5 under if you believe Kikuchi can keep the ball rolling here after the good start against Houston. So I would lean those 2 directions. Baltimore, first 5, Baltimore full game, also under first 5. What do you think here, C-Mac, with the Orioles and the Mariners?
Yeah, we'll see. This should be a good one. Means has just been unreal this year. And I'm not going to shy away. I know Kikuchi pitched well his last start. But I got to go Means. Give me the plus money a little bit here. Orioles hit lefties. I'm going to come right back. Mariners won last night. I think this is a good spot for the Orioles. Should be a good one. I'm a little interested. Both pitchers have pitched so well. I'm not going to go with the under here at 7.5. I don't really love the over. I think it could get there. I'm just going to stick with Means until I think he's going to regress a little bit, but I think he could kind of maybe shut down a little bit of Mariners team and give me the plus money a little bit with the Orioles. I love it at plus 105. I'll go full game.
All right, we have Mets and Cardinals, Stroman and Kwang Hyun Kim, your matchup here. This is a weird start time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. You don't get those usually in St. Louis here, but we'll see how this one goes. Stroman 3-2, 1.84 ERA for him this season's been solid. Kim 3.29 ERA for him entering this outing for the Cardinals. He's actually pitched a lot better in his last few starts. Kim, he got roughed up early in the season a little bit, but he's kind of settled in a good amount after that. 2 runs allowed, no walks in his last 10.2 innings of work. We'll see how he fares here. Stroman, he's only had 1 start against the Cardinals, and it was a good one. 1 run allowed in 6 innings. We'll have to wait and see. Stroman's allowed 1 earned run or less in 4 of his 5 starts this season. So he has pitched very well. He did have a little hamstring tightness in his last start against the Phillies. So not saying that's going to affect him today, but you're always just a little gun shy sometimes with the pitcher coming off a minor little injury like that. But obviously they feel the Mets that he's good enough to pitch here today in this game against the Cardinals tonight. So the two pitchers that are in really good form. It's 2 lineups that are a little bit sketchy, a little bit of an early start. So could see runs at a premium here. We'll have to wait and see when it comes to this particular matchup, but probably a lean to the under. Don't know if I'll bet it, though. What do you think here, C-Mac, with the Mets and the Cards?
Yeah, I'm off it. I don't want any part of it. The under 6 is minus 130 because that's right away. You just mentioned that I kind of want to laser in and be on. Not a great feeling with both these teams early. Mets, until they get going, I'm kind of waiting on them to get a run to start backing them. I'm kind of going to lay off. And Cardinals have been a little up and down for me as well. They got the win the other day, but I took half my bet run line and half regular 2 days ago. And I'm not a huge Kim backer here. Stroman, who came out of the gates pitching well, he kind of is a pitch to contact guy, has good command, but I don't know. I just don't love either side. I don't think it's a great value. Minus 105 both ways. Just a pass for me, game 1.
Yeah, important message to make before we move on. We've got our main Pub Sports Radio YouTube channel back. It's up and running. It's in operation once again. This is going to be the final day where when I upload the link for the show and get it ready, that I'm going to be putting it on the Pub Sports Radio live channel. Okay, I just did it today so that we could ease the transition, so that people just all of a sudden they go to Pub Sports Radio Live, where they've been going the last couple months, and where's the show? Cool. So today I put it up on the live channel, which is basically the secondary channel, and the main Pub Sports Radio YouTube channel, which is now back up and running. So after today, I'll be just putting it on the main channel. So just be aware of that. This will be the last show that I'll be uploading to the live channel, which is the channel we've been using. So, because the main channel had been suspended for various reasons, but it's back now, and we will be going with that show, or that channel, I should say, the Pub Sports Radio channel, the one without the word live in it. We'll be on that channel every day with all the shows: MLB Closing Time, NBA Closing Time, all the closing time shows, Jimmy's show, all the live stream shows, the horse racing crew with Razor Sharp and all of them, Tom and all those guys that are part of that. The UFC streams with Boston Nick and company, they'll be on the main channel, Pub Sports Radio, moving forward. So all of that. We just wanted for today to have them on both channels just to ease the transition and get the word out that the main channel's back. So, but starting tomorrow, and I'll put the NBA show up on the live channel as well today. And then tomorrow, all closing time shows tomorrow and beyond, they will only be on the main channel, the Pub Sports Radio channel. We've got it back. We're like Frank Costanza. I'm back, baby. Exactly. We're back right now with the Pub Sports Radio main channel. Good to have that back in operation. Arizona, Miami. Luke Weaver, Pablo Lopez, your pitching matchup here in this one. Miami, minus 140, minus 150, moderate home favorites here. Total 7 across the board. I'd probably come back to the same bet as the last game, pretty much with yesterday. I was leaning to Miami first 5 in full game. I actually did end up betting it with Alcantara in that one against Smith. And boy, I'll tell you what, Miami got the early lead, and it looked like they were going to cruise to victory. And then all of a sudden, here's Arizona tying it up late. But unfortunately, good news is the Arizona bullpen imploded late, and Miami ends up running away with the victory. So both of those cash first 5 in full game. I'd probably lean that same way here. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Luke Weaver. 4.91 ERA coming into this start. He's definitely had his struggles, no question. Miami, their lineup sometimes hard to trust, but I think they could do some damage here against Weaver with the way Weaver's been struggling. Pablo Lopez has been kind of a hard luck pitcher. You know, he's pitched well enough to win a lot of games, but just various circumstances have kept him to an 0-2 record, which I don't think he deserves because he has a 2.34 ERA. He's actually been very solid for Miami. So probably lean to the same 2 bets as yesterday. Marlins first 5 full game. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I'm with you. I lean towards the Marlins a little bit. I like Lopez. I'm not a big Weaver backer. I get how some people want to look at the D-backs kind of like yesterday, if they can get some runs. I just don't love laying minus 140, even though I have the better pitcher with such a weak hitting team in the Marlins. They got it done yesterday. And at this price, I'm about on the limit here. We're going to see 135s, 138, 140. That's right where I'd be at. First 5 is even higher at minus 150. And I'd look Lopez, I'm a first 5 under, but at 3.5, I don't know what I'm going to get out of Weaver. He just hasn't looked right. He can have good stuff at times, and this is a team where he could probably get some outs in the Marlins. When they get cold, they get really cold. But only a 7, I think you could maybe get over that. D-backs play high-scoring games. I think they got to be in the top 10, 5 in the higher scoring games in the league. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure they are. So I'd look maybe over the 7 a little bit, and definitely the Marlins here.
All right, next up, Astros and Yankees. Boy, what a raucous environment that was at Yankee Stadium last night. That was not your typical regular season game environment with that setting last night. I'm sure it'll be more of the same tonight. We've got Garcia against Montgomery, your pitching matchup here. Yankees in that minus 140 to 50 range is home chalk, 9.5 the total. Wind blowing out tonight at Yankee Stadium. So 10-mile-per-hour wind too. So be careful of that. It's definitely hitter conditions. Question is, will the hitters take advantage of these 2 pitchers? It's a tough one here with Montgomery, Conor, because he's pitched a little bit better lately, but we know what the Astros can do against the Southpaw. And Montgomery lifetime against Houston, 5.11 ERA and 3 career starts against the Astros. It's nothing to write home about. A couple of these Astros hitters, Martin Maldonado, Yuli Gurriel, Carlos Correa, Aledmus Diaz, limited at bats. You don't have a lot of sample size here, but they've all hit Montgomery in a limited number of ABs. And Luis Garcia has not. Luis Garcia, the Yankees have never seen him. He hasn't pitched against them ever, and he's actually pitched fairly effectively this season. 2.7 ERA has been solid. He's had to take the spot of a couple. There's been some pitcher injuries here with the Astros, namely Jake Odorizzi. That's the guy he's taking the spot of in this Astros rotation right now. So it's a tough one because the Astros should be able to hit lefties. Montgomery's been good. I think the Yankees really want to win. I think the Yankees are not satisfied with just beating the Astros last night. I think they really want to make a statement. That's a tough kind of aura to want to go against. But when I look at it, Garcia, there's unfamiliarity for the Yankees against him. Garcia's been decent. Montgomery has been good, but the Astros hit lefties, and the Astros have a decent track record against Montgomery in the past. Maybe an Astro first 5 here in this one at a plus price. That's actually the way I'm leaning. It's tough to go against the Yankees because I think they're just fire in their nostrils to beat down this Astros team, but I think there's a first 5 edge here for Houston. What do you think, Conor?
I think there is too. I think that yesterday was just so much emotion with the Yankees. And it was a big win. few runs too early. My best bet didn't go through. I was pretty pissed about it. I should have went with the Yankees. That was obviously my favorite game of the day. But screw it. We're back at it today. I think Garcia's had a little bit of tough luck. 2.70 ERA this year. He's 0-3. But like you said, Yankees haven't seen him. I agree. I like the plus money on the Astros first 5 because the Yankees, that bullpen's kind of their strength. I think Montgomery could go 4 or 5. And the Astros, their bullpen isn't their strength. So, and I even I'd go back to the well. I'm hanging a 5 at even money, the first 5, maybe the under at even money. I don't know. Maybe these teams are so juiced up. They kind of came back down to earth, but those early runs, 5 in the first, were big, especially Stanton. But I love the plus money with the Astros. So give me the Astros first 5 here, plus 120. And I'm thinking about the under, first 5, under 5 at even money here.
All right, Astros first 5 and a first 5 under opinions here for Conor with the Astros and the Yankees. When you look at it for Montgomery, his last few starts against the Astros, the one start he made here at Yankee Stadium against them, 4 runs, 8 hits, 6 innings, nothing to write home, not great, and they lost the game. So there's an opportunity potentially here, Astros first 5. Actually, that probably will be something I go ahead with and pull the trigger with here in this one. Atlanta and Washington, Max Fried returning from the injured list. Who knows what we're going to get from him here. Eric Fetty on the mound for the Nationals in this one. We have Atlanta road chalk here in this one, and the total 8.5, 9, depending on where you look in this game. There's still some 8.5s out there, some 9s, so make sure you shop around. That's important to point out because I'm all over the total here. First 5 in the full game up and over the number. I think we're going to see some runs scored here tonight. I don't know. I'm going to need to see it with Fried. Coming back from the hamstring injury, we'll see. Remember, he was terrible before he got hurt, and I said he was going to end up on the injured list because he just didn't look right. We'll see if he's back. If he does look right here, I'm not so sure. He completed a live batting practice session with no injury issues and will be on normal rest. So they're putting him in every possible position to succeed here and make sure it's a seamless transition back to the rotation. But still, the fact remains he's been belted around in his previous starts before the injury. In 11 innings, 11.45 ERA, 2.55 whip. Now, this guy was a great pitcher last year. Don't get me wrong, but he's going to need to show me evidence that he can get back to that level here before I trust him. And again, we're talking about a Nationals team that all they do is mash the lefties, and they mashed Fried when they faced him earlier this season. So I'm going to need to see it, a sign of a turnaround from Fried, that he's back to his old self. Coming off that stint on the injured list. That remains to be seen. That's a big-time question mark in my mind for Fried going into this outing tonight. And when you look at Fried's numbers against the Nationals all-time, like I said, not a lot that's you like. I mean, look at the recent starts. 5 runs in 2.3 innings, 3 runs in 5 innings. The 5 runs he allowed in 2 innings last month against the Nationals. So I think the Nationals hit him. I think the Braves hit Fetty. He struggled against the Braves as well. 4 runs allowed in just 3 innings last September. 2 runs in 5 innings last September, and last month, I should say, 5 runs allowed and didn't even get out of the second inning. So it's been rough for Fetty. Fetty's been good actually lately. His form's actually not bad, but boy, against Atlanta, he's really had a tough time. So I'm going to go first 5 over 4.5, and I'm going to go full game over 8.5, 9, depending on which number you look at here. What do you think, C-Mac?
Just real quick, this is our last day to remind all the guys here. We'll be all back to our regular channel. I was on live and not seeing David Sharp and all our regulars on the regular one. So just not that I didn't see your guys' quotes or anything today, Jose. And I got to give a shout out real quick. Thanks for the dono, David Sharp. Appreciate it. Love the quote. What do you say here on it? I didn't see a trash can on the field. So here's the 5 for the tweet, Jose. Made me laugh. That was pretty funny. All those inflatable.
They confiscated it. All these inflatable trash cans there last night. A bunch of people brought them. We thought we were going to cash our mysterious prop here. And they could just throw, because we thought all was going to happen is they were going to get it thrown on the field. They were. I think that was the intent at some point for these fans that brought them, but all the security guards took them away. So unfortunately, best plans go for naught.
I want to give one last shout out to my guy Schnizzle. I haven't seen him in months and months and months. I'm so glad you're in the chat, man. I'm good to hear you're doing good, and good to see you in here. I haven't seen him in forever. Let's get back to the game. I'm with you here. Over 8.5. I think Fetty will get hit again. The Braves hitters are. Here we go. What do we got? Acuna's 3 for 9 with a homer, 3 for 8. Albies 4 for 9. Azun, Marcel Freeman 2 for 8. Riley 3 for 7. And you talk about Fried. He's just gotten ripped. These Nationals hit lefties. I think he gets better as long as he's healthy. He's getting nothing like he was last year. But full game over for me. I went with the Braves. Run line. They came through. They moved from like this bottom down on the shit list at the very end, maybe like a few notches. I don't know if I'll go back to him run line here, but at plus 125, I think it's a little bit of thought here. I think the Braves maybe could pound it out again, kind of get a maybe score 8 or 9 and get a run line win. So if you're looking for plus money with the Braves, it's all about Fried. We'll see if he can kind of pitch well coming back from injury. So that's it.
All right. Yeah, definitely. So that is a popular bet. I know I've seen a lot of people liking runs to be scored in this game. It's hard to argue with that, though. Next up, we've got Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Peralta, and Chase Anderson, your pitching matchup here in this one. Milwaukee, decent road chalk here, around minus 140-ish. The total 7.5 across the board here in this one. I think you have to favor Peralta. There's a reason why Milwaukee's laying a price on the road here. He's definitely better than Chase Anderson. There's no question about that. Chase Anderson's a go-against pitcher for me, no doubt. I have no interest backing the Phillies with him on the mound, although the Phillies are in pretty decent form right now, and the Brewers aren't. The Brewers haven't been hitting the first couple games in this series, but you look at the Phillies with Anderson, 5.4 ERA, 5 starts this season, 1-3 in his career against the Brewers, 6.55 ERA in 2 starts. Unfortunately, who's going to be in the lineup for the Brewers is a question. They once again have lost Christian Yelich. This guy's looking like cotton candy and plastic body parts at this point because he just can't stay healthy on the field, which is a shame. So the Brewers lineup, it's been sketchy. We don't know who's going to be in there. It looks like we've got Kane having injury issues again. I don't see him on the projected lineup tonight for Craig Counsell and his team. We looking at Wong, Luis Arias, Daniel Vogelbach, no relation, Dan Vogelbach, no relation to the singer from the 80s. Travis Shaw, Garcia, Bradley, Taylor. I mean, that's a there's some bats missing in that lineup tonight for the Brewers. So they should hit Anderson. Anderson struggled. It tempers my enthusiasm, though, with the injuries to that Brewers lineup. But I still would lean to Milwaukee first 5 here in this game. No question about that. Maybe split it up first 5 in full game. But I can't back Philly here. I mean, Peralta's clearly got an edge in this matchup. Peralta, by the way, 3-0, 2.25 ERA for him in 5 starts this season. So he's been in good form. He's the better form pitcher right now. So I would still lean Milwaukee here, first 5 full game. Probably keep it a smaller bet, both bets smaller, though, because of the lineup concerns. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I'd keep it small or just stay away. Right now, I don't want the Brewers. They just can't hit. I don't love Peralta's solid pitcher, but I don't want him minus 135 on the road. While I think they could hit Anderson, I just don't love it here. I mean, maybe look towards the over 7.5. But the Brewers, man, the stick's got to come out and hit. I got to see it from them. So I want to stay away from them. Their team total even, I don't like. I'd lean to them on Peralta a little bit first 5, maybe a half run. Maybe they can hit Anderson, but I won't be betting this one. It'll be a pass.
All right, we have the Detroit Tigers and the Boston Red Sox. Next up, Boston, around minus 180, home favorites. Be careful. We're talking about over 50% chance of rain at Fenway tonight. Good chance this game either gets delayed or postponed entirely. But if it does get played, it's Mize against Perez. Look, I never thought in a million years last night that as someone that had the Red Sox run line last night, that the Red Sox would have scored the number of runs they would have against this feeble Detroit lineup, and I still would have had to sweat the game out. But that's exactly what happened last night. The Tigers just all of a sudden, inexplicably out of nowhere, they end up just finding some offense, the Tigers, mostly against that Red Sox bullpen later in the game. Look, I don't want to say that the Tigers can take positives from a loss. You still lost the game at the end of the day, but they weren't hitting a lick prior to last night. The fact they got some offense going, they got their bats going just a little bit, it's got to be a positive and a little bit of a bounce in their step coming into today. And if they can, put some hits together against Pivetta in the bullpen last night, why can't they hit Perez? I'm not a fan of Martin Perez at all, not one little bit. And I think the Tigers, after what I saw last night, they could maybe string some hits, string some runs together. I do still have some confidence in Casey Mize for the Detroit Tigers. It's been a little bit of a up and down start to his season, but he's a very talented young pitcher that the Tigers have a good amount of high hopes for and expectations for to be a big piece of their rotation in the long term. You look at his last start for the Tigers, it was better against a good hitting White Sox team, 3 runs allowed in 6 innings of work, pitched quite well. Unfortunately, no run support from the Tigers was the difference in that game. But I do think the Tigers can hit Perez a little bit here in this one. I'm not sold on the guy whatsoever. He did face the Rangers last time out and pitched good, but Rangers can't hit lefties. Tigers can a little bit. Yeah, David Sharp's basically reading my mail here. I'm very much interested in a Tigers first 5 here in this game. Again, stay out of the bullpen, which is no good for Detroit. First 5 innings, though, at a nice plus price for Detroit. I'm very much interested in the Tigers side for the first 5 innings. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I mean, Perez, he's made 9 starts the last 2 years. No wins at Fenway. I mean, I just can't back him at this huge number. So I'd stay away. As much as I was big on the Red Sox run line yesterday, I don't love it as much. And Mize hasn't been great. His ERA, he's still got a pretty good heater, but he's 1-3 with a 5 ERA. I see runs here. Team totals -130 over 3.5 for the Tigers. And over 5.5 is +115 with the Red Sox. I think if you want to go either way with that, but I go the full game over 9. I know I'm a guy, sometimes you see a ton of runs, but I see bad pitching. Tigers got a horrible bullpen. Perez, never been really big on. I see more runs, so I lean the over 9 full game -110, and I love the shot first 5 with the Tigers. We haven't talked about them first 5 like we did with the Pirates. We haven't mentioned them a first 5 in probably 10 days or 14 days. They've been on this bad run. I haven't wanted to bet them once. Maybe there's a shot here. Yeah, just like you said, and David, I think there's a shot here today. A little value with the Tigers first 5 +155.
Yeah, +155, a really good price there as well. Texas and Minnesota, Hyun-Jong Yang for the Texas Rangers on the mound here. Lewis Thorpe for the Minnesota Twins in this one. We got the Twins around -150 to -160 home favorites, the total 9 in this one. We'll have to wait and see how this one goes. Hyun-Jong Yang looks like for the Rangers making this, it looks like it's probably going to be an emergency start because of Kohei Arihara being on the injured list due to a finger injury. So as a result, Yang is going to end up coming out of the bullpen to start here for the Rangers. He's allowed 2 runs on 6 hits with 5 strikeouts through 4.1 innings. Not a huge sample size. I don't know. And we're talking about a guy that, he's a lefty. Twins can sometimes hit lefties pretty good. So I don't know how effective he's going to be. And from a spot perspective, I would think the Twins have something to prove here in this game tonight after really a dismal showing from their bullpen. They had that game in hand against the Rangers last night and completely coughed up. By the way, if you were on the under in that Texas-Minnesota game last night, what a brutal beat. Deserved a much better fate. Had no business going over the total, but it does because of extra innings. Absolutely terrible way to lose that one. Deserved better, no question. Lewis Thorpe will make the start here. He was recalled to start this game from the minors with Matt Shoemaker struggling. There's a chance this guy, if he steps up and pitches well, could be in this rotation. Problem is 6.48 ERA as a major league starter, which is not exactly very good. Not exactly something you have a lot of confidence in, seeing his track record here at the major league level. But Texas, sometimes against lefties, we know how spotty they can be and sketchy they can be. Sometimes they just don't hit a lick, against those southpaws. So that's the concern I've got here going into this game. And it's a tough one all around. Tough one to gauge. It's one of those games, Texas, Minnesota. I think Minnesota probably wins the game. I just don't love the price with Thorpe. and the bullpen behind him. So I'm probably going to stay off this game entirely. Connor, what do you think? Rangers and Twins.
Yeah, there's just no way that I want Thorpe at this price. Are you kidding me? The way the Twins have been playing, minus 160 almost. No way. If I were to bet this one, I really don't love the total to go either way. But Yang has, I mean, I don't know. He hasn't been great. Let's see if he could get 5 innings. I like the Rangers first 5 plus 140 a little bit. I don't know if I bet this one, but the Twins have just shown nothing. And not that I love the Rangers, but they played a bit better. They've hit a bit better. So give me a little bit Rangers first 5 here plus 140.
All right, leaning to the Rangers here, first 5 innings at plus 140 in this one. Again, the only concern I've got here going into this game is we're talking about the Rangers and the sometimes struggles that they have against the Southpaws. We'll have to see if that keeps up here. I guess from a total standpoint, I'd lean over because, look, Yang for the Rangers, he didn't make the opening day roster for the Rangers. Like, this is not a team loaded with great pitching. And he still didn't make the opening. Like, how good can he be? You know, if you're not making the opening day roster for the Texas Rangers from a pitching standpoint, how good can you be? That's the way I look at it. So that's why I'm probably going to predict this guy's probably going to struggle more than pitch well tonight. So we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we've got the LA Dodgers, Chicago Cubs. Well, here was the result of my opinion that the win over Milwaukee on Sunday was going to be a spark for the Dodgers. The result was that was the result. So much for that thought for me. What ends up happening? The Dodgers get beaten twice in the doubleheader by the Chicago Cubs yesterday. You're not going to get every thought you have right, and that was definitely one. So much for that being a catalyst for a win streak for the Dodgers. That big blowout against the Brewers. Kershaw gets roughed up yesterday. Good call by David Sharp. I know he thought Kershaw would struggle against the Cubs. He did in that game yesterday. And, of course, the Dodgers bullpen. What else is new with this freaking Dodgers bullpen, man? It's a problem. It is a huge-ass problem, and they need to figure it out right now. I mean, how many more times can Dave Roberts and this team watch this bullpen piss away games for the LA Dodgers before something gets done? Maybe they don't have an answer right now. Maybe that's why nothing's getting done. But there's issues right now with this Dodgers pen. All that being said, they've got the guy they want on the mound to turn things around after 2 tough losses yesterday to the Cubs, Walker Buehler on the mound. I think he's the guy you want. He's been solid all season. I have no great deal of confidence in Adbert Alzolay here for the Cubs. We've talked about him before. Not exactly a guy that's high on my bet on list from a pitching standpoint, up and down so far this season for the Cubs. You look at now they have not seen Alzolay, the Dodger lineup. So that's the one thing he does have going for him. But Buehler shut down the Cubs for the most part. They're hitting collectively .216 against him. I guess Bryant 3 for 6, 500 average against Buehler. But really outside of that, there's not a track record of much success here against Walker Buehler for the Cubs. So it's a Dodger spot. Maybe Dodger first 5 run line, lay in a half run. That's probably the way I would go. Connor, what do you think?
I agree. If you want one guy on the mound to stop the fucking bleeding, I'd have Buehler, and he's dominated the Cubs here. Other than Bryant's, that's 3 for 6. It's Dodgers or nothing for me. As much as I like the Cubs yesterday and how good they hit Kershaw, they got to win today. I think Buehler's the guy, and I wouldn't go full game. You just said it right. I want nothing to do with that shitty Dodger bullpen. Holy shit. If I bet this, first 5 half run with the Dodgers, don't go full game until their bullpen does anything. No way. So, yeah, that'd be the only bet in this ball game. I'm leaning first 5 under a little bit. It's 4, but it's minus 120. But definitely half run Dodgers here. First 5.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a Dodgers full game bet right now and you lose because the bullpen implodes, I don't want you crying and yelling and screaming, oh, bad bet, bad beat, bad beat. No, that's a bad bet. You got to take the bullpen out of it right now if you're going to back the Dodgers team. It's a brutal pen. I think all of your Dodger bets have to be first 5 innings for the time being until you see some kind of improvement in this relief corps, which is a complete and utter shambles right now for this Dodgers team. You've got to wait and see improvement at this point in time from that pen, the ability to get outs. Otherwise, you got to stay off them from a full game standpoint. We've got Cleveland and Kansas City. Bieber, Singer. It's funny. We've got Shane Bieber against Bieber and Singer. Do you know what I'm kind of going with there? Yeah, we've got Cleveland and Kansas City here. We've got Cleveland minus 170, road favorites, total 7 across the board. Bieber, doing his thing, 2.76 ERA, off to a good start this season once again for the Royals. I don't think he's been quite as dominant as last year, but still nothing. It's just good old-fashioned rock solid stuff still for the most part from Bieber this season. You look at his recent starts; he's been 3 runs or less in every outing. That's what you want. He goes 6, 7, 8 innings. He goes deeper into games. That's what you want. He's dominated the Kansas City Royals. 2 runs allowed to the Royals over his last 18 plus innings pitched against Kansas City. So he has done extremely well against this Royals team. On the flip side, you've got Brady Singer on the mound for the Royals. I think this guy's not bad, believe it or not. He's pitched really well last few starts. 1 run allowed or fewer in each of the last 4 starts. Against the Indians, he's allowed 2 runs and 13 career innings pitched against Cleveland. So Singer's done a good job against this Cleveland lineup. Bieber's dominated this Royals lineup for the most part. First 5 under makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the Bieber strikeout props, I'm never going to say bad bet there if you like Bieber over strikeout props. It's just what he does. The first 5 under, though, that might be what I end up rocking with here in this game. First 5 under, you can get that right now at around 3.5 minus 105. I don't love the 3.5, but I still might get there with this one. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Me too. I think I'm going to be on the first 5 under 3.5. Bieber's done well. I don't blame anyone. Do the strikeout prop. I thought the Indians at that plus money yesterday was a good one, and they came through. Bieber's a little high here on the road. I don't blame anyone for wanting to take the Indians. Danny's got him first 5. I'm going to stay away, though. Some guys got some decent numbers off him. Merrifield, nothing great. He's got a homer. Perez has got a couple homers off him. For how dominant he was the last couple of years, there's some decent numbers. I'm going to stay away on the game, but, yeah, I'm looking at the first 5 under 3.5.
All right, first 5 under 3.5 here in this one with the Royals and Cleveland and Kansas City. Pittsburgh and San Diego, Brubaker, Darvish. We've got San Diego minus 240 home favorites, total 6.5. Brubaker's not bad pitcher, and we've seen Pittsburgh give San Diego grief already a little bit in this series. I mean, I'm not in a rush to lay to this kind of price with the Padres. I know Darvish has been good. I'm not saying go against Darvish, but boy, that's a big number to be laying against a pitcher in Brubaker that's actually been quite solid this season for the Pittsburgh Pirates, entering this game with a 2.63 ERA on the season. There's nothing wrong with that, with the way he's pitched so far for the Pirates. 6 strikeouts, 30 strikeouts and just 5 walks. He lost his last 2 starts, but he gave up 5 runs in 12 innings, and no walks. His command's good. He's kept the runs allowed at a minimum for the most part. It's just a question of, does Pittsburgh hit Darvish? And that's probably the thing you worry about the most, because over his last 33 innings, he's had a 1.35 ERA. He's been magnificent. He has a 2.30 ERA lifetime against the Pirates. Could be a pitcher's duel here. First 5 under, maybe full game under if you trust the bullpens. But, both of these pitchers have been getting it done lately. What do you think here, C-Mac, Pirates and Padres?
I lean first 5 under, but I've hit my limit. We're at a 3.5 and we're minus 125. It's pushing it for me there. With so many games, that's probably when I cut from playing. After as much as I love the Pirates, at this huge number, I kind of want to take them again first 5. I know Darvish has just absolutely dominated them, and looking at through the stats here, I mean, these guys haven't hit him at all. But minus 240, I mean, it's premium price here right now to lay it with the Padres. And I don't think they've looked too great. I'm sure down the year they will. Just, I don't know. They seem a little sleepy at home these last few games. They won 2-0. Last night we're down early. Maybe look Pirates again, first 5. I don't know if I'm going to bet it yet. I'm still looking at it. And that first 5 under looks good. It just is minus 125. Like I said, that's one game probably when I get down to making plays, I might have to cut. It's just too high a juice there.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend much time on this next game because it's the second game of the doubleheader with the Mets and the Cardinals. We have Oviedo, I think, confirmed here for the Padres or the Cardinals in the second game, but we don't know yet who's going to be on the mound for the Mets yet in this game. So not much on that one. Connor, do you have anything?
Nothing.
No, it's hard. I mean, we don't know who's going to be pitching for the Mets just yet in that one. All right, we go on to Tampa Bay and the LA Angels in this next matchup here. It looks like in this one we've got it looks like it's Andrew Kittredge on the mound for the Rays. It'll be another bullpen day for Cash's crew. Shohei Ohtani coming off a little bit of an elbow injury. He got hit in his elbow with a pitch or in his last start, and it was a little bit dazed after that, with a little sore elbow after that. We'll have to see if he can come back and pitch well here tonight in this one. Next up, we've got this one. We've got the Angels here. Looks like around -125 home favorites, 8.5 the total in this one. When you look at it from a matchup standpoint, the Angels have been a little bit sketchy with their lineup lately, and Kittredge has been pretty reliable here for the Rays so far. He's been very valuable in this pitching staff so far. He's had 11.2 innings of work this year, given up just 2 runs in those 11.2 innings, 8 strikeouts. Opposing teams, 146 team batting average, opposing hitters against Kittredge this year. So he's pitched quite well for the Rays. Ohtani, we know he's got electric stuff. He had really one terrible inning in that one start against the Texas Rangers, and pretty much settled in and pitched a lot better from that point on. We'll see if he can keep that going tonight in this matchup against the Rays. But when you look at Ohtani so far this season, he settled down after the bad first inning against Texas in his last start. Before that, he had 4 innings of shutout ball. Problem is he doesn't give you a whole lot of length. 4 innings and 5 innings is where he's topped out at in his starts this year. So you're going to see a lot of the Angels bullpen. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing for them. The thing that concerns me here, Conor, is that we've got a pitcher in Ohtani that struck out 7 batters or more in all 3 of his starts. And Tampa Bay has got the 4th most strikeouts this year in Major League Baseball. The Rays are striking out an average of over 10 per game strikeouts. So from that standpoint, the only concern I've got, though, with this is that Ohtani just doesn't pitch deep. So if you like the strikeout prop for him, over 6.5 is what I think it is. You got to hope he at least gives you some length and gives you a chance to be in the game long enough to get to 7 strikeouts. But if he can pitch, more than 5 innings, he could probably get to 7 because Tampa Bay strikes out a lot. So it's a tough game all around here. I'm not really high on either side. It's a tough one to call for me from a side standpoint. Maybe a first 5 under. And like I said, the Ohtani strikeout prop makes sense. You just hope he can stick around in the game long enough. Pitching deep into games has not been his strong suit. What do you think here, C-Mac? Rays, Angels?
Yeah, he doesn't pitch deep. This has got me. I took it last night. I almost made it the best bet, and runs just exploded after the 5th inning. I had the first 5 under 4.5, -105. I like it here a bit. Ohtani, though, I haven't been taking a lot of his games when he pitches first 5 unders. He gives up, though. He has that one bad inning, and then he kind of settles down. So it got me scratching my head here. I still kind of like that a little bit. Like I said yesterday, Angels don't hit lefties, but they pound righties. So it's difficult there to take the under as well. And I want the plus money with the Rays. I think they're just, because Ohtani's on the mound, the Angels are kind of -125. They haven't played well lately. They don't hit. But if you were an Angel backer, I don't know if you'd want to go full game. As you saw last night, that bullpen is not very good, and they gave up about 5 or 6 runs late again. So if you like the Angels and Ohtani, I go first 5 here. And if you like the Rays, give me full game at +115. I think there's value there with the Rays here at plus money.
Yeah, the Rays at plus money. Yeah, David Sharp, it's a shocker. I gave out a prop. Yeah, you're right. Yarbrough is going to be the main pitcher. You're right. It's going to be Kittredge after Yarbrough after Kittredge. Yarbrough's the primary guy. Kittredge is the opener. That's just the setup opener, for the Rays tonight. The caveat to what I said about worried about Ohtani going deep is he's still gotten 7+ strikeouts in all his starts, even only going 4 or 5 innings. So maybe he could still get you that over prop with his strikeouts. But I do kind of like that a little bit because the Rays have been swinging and missing and striking out quite a bit. Final game, Toronto Blue Jays, Oakland Athletics. Oakland -120, home favorites, total 8 in this one. I'm very, very, very conflicted here with this game because I'm not a big, I don't know why, but I'm still not overly in love with Bassett Bassett does pitch well, though, in Oakland, and he's pitched better lately. And Oakland's the red-hot team. It's tough to go against Oakland. Even I'll admit that. 11-2 they are at home this year, playing great ball. But you know what I said about Robbie Ray last time he started? I said, as long as he doesn't walk guys, he's got it locked in right now. He was awesome in his last start against Atlanta. This is a bet-on pitcher right now. There's no way I'm fading Robbie Ray right now. He's got the walks reeled in a little bit. He's not. His walks rate has gone down. They're working with him. Pete Walker's got a good pitching coach for this Jays team. And you look at it, he has definitely gotten improvement from Robbie Ray this season with the Jays, and he's in a good zone right now. It does concern me. Oakland's hitting lefties pretty decently. I mean, I really, really want to back Ray, but Bassett, as much as I think Ray is actually better than Bassett in terms of quality of stuff, but Bassett does pitch well at home. He has pitched better in terms of his current form the last couple of starts. Oakland's the red-hot team, especially on their home field. But at the same point in time, you've got the Blue Jays in a situation where they haven't been. That's a good point to David Sharp. Exactly. They've been hitting the ball a ton at Dunedin, that little bandbox, and you get them away from home or away from their current home, their temporary home, and they haven't hit as well. So I hate to pass up the opportunity to back Ray right now, because I think Ray is a go-with bet-on pitcher at this time. But Jays aren't hitting right now, and I'm not sure I'm in love with pounding my head against the wall trying to go against this red-hot surging Oakland team at the moment. So I lean to the Jays, but I'm probably going to stay off it and leave it alone. What do you think, C-Mac?
It's a difficult one. Like you said, the Jays they go in these funks, especially it seems like on the road they can't hit. The A's hit lefties, even though I love how Ray's pitched so far this year. As long as he's not walking guys, he does pretty well. I think the game's lined pretty well here. I'm not a huge Bassett fan, but he's pitched decent so far this year. If I were to take it, I'd go one more time here with the A's at the short number. Just think I think the A's hit lefties better. And on the total, this first 5 under 4 has got my eye a little bit. Ray's pitched well. A's hit lefties pretty well. Don't know if I'm going to go to it, but that'd be my lean.
Yeah, and I also see that stat out there that the Oakland Athletics are 8-3 against lefty starters this year. So
yeah,
that's pretty good. So I'm probably going to stay off. But keep an eye on it, though. If Robbie Ray pitches well today, like I say, I think there's good things going with him right now.
I don't know if Springer will be in, but he's got a couple homers off Bassett. If you're looking for a homer prop, if he plays, that's
the question. Is he going to be? This is becoming an issue right now, because first they said he was injured, he came back, they delayed his return, he finally returned for a couple of games there. Then they said Sunday he needed a rest day, and also the first game against Oakland he needed a rest day, and then they thought he'd be back in last night, the second game, and he still wasn't. So what's going on here? Like, we don't need that many rest days. It's May 5th, for Christ's sake. Put him in there, unless he's really hurt. Get in there and hit for the money you're making, man. Let's go. Suck it up, toughen it up, whatever the case may be. But that's asinine. Rest days May 5th. You're playing baseball. I know you play a lot of games, but what if you're playing football? What if you're playing hockey? Hell, basketball's got more physical contact in it than baseball. What are you doing? Get out there. That's what I'm saying. Come on. Either that or the Jays are hiding an injury. Don't give me this rest bullshit. I mean, holy gosh, rest 1 month into the season drives you nuts. Anyway, that's it for the Wednesday MLB card. We will get to best bets in just a second. Great analysis, as always, with Conor Mack. Before we get to our best bets, take this 30-second pause so that we can have a message from our great sponsors of Pub Sports Radio, one of our great sponsors here, Manscaped. All right, Manscaped, promo code PubSports. Check them out, as well as mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. Use Bitcoin and accepted currency for your deposit. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. Let's get to best bets for this Wednesday card. I think it's a bounce back in order for both of us with best bets. Both of our best bets came up short yesterday. Let's see if we can get in the win column today. C-Mac, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Well, throw this one. The juice isn't too high, like the Dodgers' first 5, but give me this Nationals Braves over 8.5. We got under 9. It's -120. I think we see runs. Fetty, Fried. Give me the over 8.5, -120. Braves, Nats.
Love it. Braves Nats over 8.5, -120 for Conor Mack with his best bet for this Wednesday MLB card. I'm going to go with this is a tough one because I'm going back and forth here with a couple of these games. A lot of these games too, there's potential for rain to be in the forecast, so that bothers me a little bit with some of them. But I'm going to go in this situation with Astros first 5. I'm going to do Astros first 5. I mean, I like the idea. The more I look at that, Garcia has not pitched against the Yankees before. That's usually an advantage for the pitcher. The Astros do hit lefties quite well. They have a good track record against Montgomery. And look, they're getting a decent price here in this matchup. Now, the Yankees do have the better bullpen, so that is why I'm on Houston first 5 here. Houston first 5 innings around +120 is what you can get with that. I think there's a decent chance Astros end up getting the lead after the first 5 innings of this game tonight with Garcia over Montgomery, and a bounce back spot too for the Astros after losing last night. So Houston Astros first 5 innings +120 against the New York Yankees. That'll be my best bet for this Wednesday MLB card, and that'll wrap up this edition of the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show. We lost Conor, but that's okay. The show, there he is. He's back. He wanted to say goodbye. But the show was over already, Conor. Yeah, the show was over already, Conor, so you could have stayed out, but that's all right. Good stuff. He still wants to say adios to everybody. But not for long. Baby. We are back in 2 hours. NBA closing time with Ski Profit as well, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Join us for that in a couple hours. For Conor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you in a couple hours for the NBA Closing Time Show right here on Pub